This is Smarter San Diego TV.
Here is what they don't want you to know.
Owning a home is the cornerstone of any good financial plan or retirement strategy. I mean, that's the real reason we buy real estate.
You've got to be smarter if you want to be successful. That's what this show is for.
This is going to blow your mind. You're going to share this with everyone you know.
I guarantee to make you smarter than everyone else.
If you do nothing else in your lifetime to save for retirement other than own your home free and clear, you're going to be okay.
And now, here's your host, Derek Evans.
Welcome to Smarter San Diego TV. This is the place where you get smarter, and it's all commercial free. Of course, this is not my accent, but this is the place where you get smarter and it's all commercial free. She's the one with the accent, Rebecca Peters.
Hello.
What's up?
Good morning.
All right. Happy Sunday morning to you.
Happy Sunday morning to you as well.
You know what we wanted to do today, Rebecca? We have a great show lined up, by the way. We got to replay the Manzon breakdance clip before he comes on and does his segment today. But the Chargers, this is that dead horse we're going to beat today. Because I just wanted to see, I wanted to take the temperature. This has been going on for a while now. Will the Chargers stay? Will they go? New stadium, yada, yada. There's people saying it's the mayor's fault. There's people saying it's the Chargers' fault. There's people saying it's the NFL's fault. Where do San Diegans stand, though? That's what we wanted to find out.
Yeah.
That's why I said, you know what, we've got to ask Facebook, because Facebook knows everything.
Of course. The greatest politicians are on Facebook.
Yes, absolutely. Smartest people, too, in the world. They know everything. So I just wanted to know, do you care? Does San Diego care at all whether the Chargers go? Or is it just a few people with special interests?
Yeah.
So we asked this question. We posted on Facebook. Do San Diegans care if the Chargers go? And the responses were pretty interesting.
Yeah. Well, I can say for myself, I will be devastated.
You would be?
If they leave.
Are
When
you a
they
big
leave.
football
I
fan?
feel like they're going to leave, and I'm very upset about it. I've been watching the Chargers since before I moved here.
Really?
I remember, actually, it was right before we moved here. We kind of got a whole delay with September 11th, and I was up late one night because I didn't have school in the morning or anything. And my dad was flicking through the channels and was like, hey, there's the San Diego Chargers. We're going to be watching them when we come to America. So I've been watching them for the last 14 plus years.
Wow. So you're a real fan.
Very upset.
I'm not that upset, honestly.
It is what it is. I'm going to support them either way.
It's not that big a deal in my mind. I mean, if there's a better market for them to be in, go ahead.
Yeah.
When you go to a Chargers game, it's not like there's this huge camaraderie and there's tons of Chargers fans and this amazing atmosphere. It's a ton of whatever team we're playing's fans.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
So that's embarrassing, I mean, it is. I mean, I'm a Padres fan as well, but to the same extent, you go to a Padres game, if they're playing the Cardinals, there's more Cardinals fans there.
Yeah.
If they're playing the Giants, there's way more Giants fans there. That's tough. That's tough on a market. That's tough on a fan base, especially the year they're having this year. But let's go ahead and see what the brilliance on Facebook brought us this time.
Well, Tina Courtney says, I care. This is my town, and those are my Chargers. I'm disappointed that we don't have a Super Bowl ring and that we always botch things up. But all that aside, they are my team, and I am not a Fairweather fan, and I'm with you.
Yeah, it's tough, though, because you don't find very many non-Fairweather fans.
Yeah.
Almost everyone's a Fairweather fan. I mean, think about it this way. If the Chargers were undefeated this season, there would be this huge stink. I mean, people would be
So
outraged.
mad. Outraged. But they're, 3-9?
Yeah.
So people don't care. Come on, guys. You couldn't have given us a good season.
I know. Well, there are a lot of theories around that, too.
Yeah.
Let's see what else was on Facebook.
Scott Black has to say, do the Chargers care about San Diego is a better question. I say they, meaning the Spanos, do not.
Yeah.
So he doesn't think the Spanos care. And I don't think they do either. It seems like Mr.
What?
Spanos is set.
Well, why would they, though? Here's the thing. You're talking about the wrong people. These aren't people who are in it for the love of the game. These are the people who are there to make money.
They're businessmen.
Yeah. They want to make the most money possible.
Of course.
And they see huge dollar signs going elsewhere.
All over LA, of course.
Yeah. Huge opportunity for them to make a fortune. They already have a fortune.
Yeah.
But, greed is what it is, and big businessmen are what they are. So I don't think we can be upset with them for that. I think this is one of those situations where we have to be upset with ourselves for not supporting the team to the extent that it warrants staying here, that it warrants a fight from the ownership to try to make something happen. But as it stands, that's not where we're at. Jack had something really interesting to say.
Jack Roll. They want to go. Let them go. Are we really going to beg them to stay? They'd want to leave if we built them the Taj Mahal. I'm sure that's spelled wrong. I'm sorry, but it is. But I don't care about the wins or losses. I'm just not into courting someone who's obviously into someone else. Like the great Willie D said.
Did you just catch that?
Gotta let a hoe be a hoe.
Who's Willie D? I've never heard of Willie D.
I don't know who Willie D is, but
I wanna know
apparently
now.
he said let a hoe be a hoe.
Apparently he did. Exactly what Jack's saying. And I actually looked into Jack a little bit, and he is a big, longtime fan, a guy who's from here. And he makes a lot of sense there.
Yeah.
Why would you want to, try to beg someone to stay who's clearly courting someone else?
Exactly.
Let him go.
You're fighting a losing battle.
It's tough to do, but sometimes it's the right thing to do. One more from Facebook.
Unamas from Brandon Sherman. Of course we want the Chargers to stay. A fact that people keep forgetting about is that San Diego had years to get a new stadium in place, and the NFL told them we could not hold a Super Bowl here until upgrades were made. I'm not worried about the Chargers. I am worried about San Diego losing out on needed revenue. If the Chargers leave, Comic-Con will end up leaving too.
I don't think they're tied together, though.
I'm not
think that's
sure what the correlation is with that.
I don't see a correlation there at all, in fact. Think about it. With the Chargers, it's 8 games. It's 8 days. And now people come fly in for the weekend and whatnot, and they do spend money, and that happens, okay? That's definitely a good thing, but nothing compared to what Comic-Con is, where it's more of like a 2-week event for the year. They're totally separate things. Not having an NFL team does not derail Comic-Con in any way, shape, or form. So I don't think that's very legitimate, but it does beg to the question, are there any other dominoes that might fall as a result of the Chargers leaving? I think at this point, they're out. They're out of 5,000. And it's just a matter of time. This will probably be their last season here. Maybe there'll be one more if they can't get their act together. They can't get it put together in the NFL. But I'm not going to say good riddance, because that's not the right thing to say, and that's not the way I feel or the way anyone probably feels. But at the end of the day, if you got to go,
you got to go.
See you later. You're leaving San Diego. You're leaving America's finest city, and that's on you all.
That's your bad.
And not on us.
Boo-hoo for you.
Stick around right now for this really special preview of, in case you missed it, Anthony Manzon breakdancing, and then we'll talk to him as our first guest on the show today. I'm going to go get my jacket on. It's time to get things going.
Next guest is the best breakdancer we've seen in San Diego real estate. Please welcome back to the show, Anthony Manzon.
There he is. Woo, the breakdancing realtor. So, dude, that's crazy stuff, man.
Yeah, it was a big part of my life.
The arms are flying around. I mean, that's wild. It's like a gymnast or something in there.
Yeah, it was a big part of my life. I did that for 10 years right out of high school, and I love it.
Yeah, great stuff. So now are people asking you, since you did that on the show, and I kind of hit you with that out of nowhere. I was like, hey, you breakdance today? You were like, okay.
Yeah.
And we talked about it before, but then since that's happened, I've seen some other videos surfacing on Facebook. It looks like other people are asking you to breakdance now, too. Is that starting to overwhelm you a little bit?
No and yes. Now people know that when they call me out, it's like, oh, great, now I have to go do it. And I just get down and I go do it.
Yeah.
Whether I'm wearing a suit or I'm in my gym clothes, I got to do my thing.
I was
it's
a dancer.
only like 20 seconds, so it's not that bad.
Hey,
I was a dancer for a while, but if anyone asked me to do it again,
no, not interested?
Wouldn't look good.
Well, thanks for that. It was really cool. Got a ton of views. It's still getting new views and likes every day on Facebook, so we appreciate that. It's obviously a really neat thing and sort of a differentiator for you. Today we're going to talk about sort of your neck of the woods, your area of expertise professionally in real estate, Chula Vista, sort of what's gone on in 2015, what we can expect for 2016, and then if you have any mega open houses or properties that we should talk about, we'll do that as well.
Perfect.
So the roundup, 2015 for Chula Vista, what are we seeing there?
Well, let's take one step back first. Let's
Okay.
talk about 2014 so we can understand where we're at and what the changes were in 2015. So in 2014, Chula Vista as a whole, our average price point was about $440,000, and that was for 2014.
Okay.
Now that we're in 2015, we've seen prices increase in Chula Vista alone about 9%, and now our average price point is about $490,000.
Wow.
So about a $50,000 increase in 1 year in
That's
just
huge.
Chula Vista.
You hear 9% and you think, oh, that's not that much. But then when it's the basis is 450,000 or
The actual
440,000.
monetary value on it. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay,
Wow,
just
50
kidding.
grand.
Yeah, 50 grand. So if you bought a house last year, I mean, of course, there's the small houses and the big houses, and they average together. But as a whole, take them all together, about 50,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's huge for people. So in 2015, we saw a 9% increase. That was big for across the board. Is that something that you think can continue into 2016?
So in a healthy market, we're looking at more increases, anywhere from 4 to 6%. If we see increases 4 to 6%, that's what we would classify as a healthy market. 9%, that's a huge increase, and everybody's really excited about 9%, but that's not something we can sustain year after year for many years to come.
Gotcha.
So to answer your question, I don't think we're going to increase 9% again this year. I do think we're going to increase slightly, not from 9, I would say anywhere closer to 4%, 4-5%, mainly because everybody thinks interest rates are going to go up.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and just, since you opened that can of worms, let's go that direction with it, because this is a big topic of discussion. Now, one of the things, the big selling points for Chula Vista has been that, bang for your buck, newer communities, newer schools, newer properties, lots of amenities, and not as expensive as a lot of the other areas of San Diego. So this is why people flock there. Can it sustain an interest rate hike because it's at a lower price point than some of the areas? Better so than some of the higher priced?
I would say yes, because let's say, for instance, we have 100 buyers looking in the $450,000 price point. When rates go up, those buyers that were in the $450,000 price range, yeah, their max range is going to go down, let's say maybe 440, 430, but they can still get a property, and that's still going to generate home sales for 2015. It's not going to be a huge drop-off. I don't think we're going to have as many home sales, but it's not going to be a huge decrease where it's going to impact the market.
So you're talking about volume. Those people are still going to be able to find homes, basically.
Correct,
If
yes.
they want to find them, they're still going to be able to find them. So we don't have the type of inventory shortage that would really sort of mix poorly with an interest rate hike, then, you think?
The thing that's tough is that inventory is so low. And when inventory is low, we know that prices are high. I don't think this huge, if there is an increase in interest rate, I don't think it's going to mean that all of a sudden all these homes are going to flood the market and there's going to be a huge discrepancy between buyers and sellers. I do think that the buyers, they're going to not be as quick to pull the trigger if they see a house that they really like, because it's going to cost them more and they're qualifying for less at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard a lot of people say that buyers right now are actually being pretty fiscally responsible, meaning that they're not going out saying, what can I get approved for? Okay, let me look at properties that are listed for that amount. They're being more conservative than that. That leads me to believe that if we do see a small rise in interest rates, the market could absorb it. Whereas before, everyone was at the top of the range, top of the range, top of the range, so any little skew off from that projection, and it caused major problems. Do
Yeah.
you see that same thing?
I'm really glad that you brought that up, because with a lot of buyers that I've been meeting with lately, the conversation hasn't been, what are you approved at? The conversation has been more towards, what is your monthly or your maximum monthly payment that you do not want to exceed? And then we match that up based on their purchase price.
Gotcha.
Because they may be approved at, let's say, $500,000, but if they're not comfortable with that monthly payment, it doesn't make sense to look at houses in that price range. You know what I
Backing
mean?
into it, yeah.
Yeah, so we actually switched more into the backwards approach now. What's your maximum monthly payment?
I like that, though. That's what people really, want to know
Yeah.
at the end of the day. And sometimes if you don't start talking about that initially, they forget about some of the things you have to add in there.
Oh, yeah.
Escrow and all that stuff, mortgage insurance potentially, et cetera. Is 2016, do you think that the scales are going to tip? I mean, we talked about how much prices might go up. It's been a seller's market for quite some time. Do you think that's going to change at all?
I do think it is. I don't think we're going to even out into a perfectly even buyer and seller's market, that would mean we need about 6 months of inventory in order for it to be considered a balanced market. Right now we're at about 2. I do see buyers getting more power, but I don't think they're going to become equally balanced. It's just, let's face it, sellers have been spoiled these past couple years saying, whatever I want, I'm going to get it. Someone might bid higher. They've been kind of spoiled with that for the past, couple years. I just don't think that's going to happen as much.
Doesn't that usually sort of the first domino when it shifts? When the sellers get so spoiled to the extent that they start just throwing numbers out there and then crickets, and then all of a sudden they have to come down or take whatever offer they've got on the table. It might be a low ball, who knows? Isn't that sort of what starts the process? So are we closer than it might appear potentially to a balanced market?
We are seeing that. I mean, the thing that's kind of mixed is the holiday season. Everyone's saying, oh, home sales slow down. If you get an offer during the holiday, you're lucky to get that. So we're talking about an industry. We are seeing a market shift, and I do think we're going to see it start to pick up in February. But I just don't think it's going to go so drastic where we're going to go evenly balanced at 6 months worth of inventory.
Okay, so just sort of angling into that direction. What about hot properties or mega open houses for Team Manzon?
Yeah, so I'm glad you brought that up. We have a property for sale doing our mega open house next week, which is 7 days from today at 815 Orchid Avenue in San Diego 92154. 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, about 1,550 square feet. We are entertaining offers at $395,000.
Oh, man.
Yep. Also, keep in mind,
It's going to go fast.
it is.
Yeah.
You got the stamped concrete. Sellers, they're redoing the kitchen right now. We're going to put in new cabinets, new kitchen. It's going to look like a brand new property again. So.
Okay,
Nice.
so is that a strategic situation? Because I know you believe that it's a good time to be involved in the market during the holidays when there's less activity going on. You have more power, essentially. As a seller, do you think it's wise to wait until the turn of the year?
We're kind of already, it's too late to say otherwise
I
because
gotcha.
we're already at the end of the year. But, our strategy with this seller was, let's hit the market the day after New Year's. The reason why is, how many renters out there do you think are saying, my New Year's resolution this year is to buy a property? So if we're one of those very few houses for sale and we have our signs up and we're doing our mega open houses, how many leads and possible buyers can we generate from this open house with it being so fresh on everyone's mind? I want to buy a property this year, and let's go look at houses.
Fantastic stuff. More wisdom from Team Manzon, Anthony Manzon. Appreciate you coming in today,
Thank you.
Great to have you again. You going to break dance again for us today?
Let's do it. No, I'm just kidding.
What did I tell you to say?
Next time.
If you ask
in
him,
next time.
he's probably going to tell you to tune in next time. If you're looking to buy or sell real estate in South Bay, this is the guy to call. Team Manzon. They won't let you down. Stick around for more Smarter San Diego TV, where we guarantee to make you smarter than everyone else, commercial free.
Our next guest is none other than the very talented and most delightful downtown real estate expert. Please welcome back Nicole Hazleton and her special guest, Scott Tucker.
Welcome to the show. Thanks for
Thank
coming,
you.
Scott.
Yeah,
Appreciate your time. Nicole, great to have you as always.
Thank you for having
We've
me.
talked about everything downtown, or at least we thought we did. Now they're still building stuff, and there's new permits, and the Manchester thing went through and all that. We'll have to get to that another day because today you brought Scott in the studio with you.
I did.
Tell us why.
I brought him in because there's a lot of financial planners out there, but Scott focuses mostly with working with military communities. So there's a ton of military in San Diego. He's been in the military. He's just an excellent financial planner. So I wanted to kind of talk about a little bit of what military can do to be financially fit.
Okay, financially fit. And thank you for your service, by the way, Scott. Appreciate that, of course.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Where did you serve?
I served mainly in Germany.
Okay.
And that's where I've been living the last 11 years, actually.
Wow.
I did a tour in Iraq and Qatar, in Doha, Qatar for the Army, yeah.
For the Army?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
the Army-Navy game was a big deal for you.
Yeah, I actually did go to West Point, and the last time that we beat Navy was my senior year. So that was 14 years ago.
So they needed you there in order for,
I
apparently.
guess. I do cheer quite loudly, yeah.
Well, today we're going to talk about financial planning for people who are in the military veterans or the military community in general. What are some of the things right off the bat that you think are important for people to know?
Well, I'm all about wellness overall throughout your whole life. And so there's lots of aspects of what wellness means to live a good life, and I really want to bring that into the military community. So things like fitness, nutrition, of course, and I'm a big advocate of both those things, but a lot of people don't realize the long-term aspects of the financial planning in the military simply because they get so into their day-to-day jobs, because there's so many sacrifices you have to make. And not only are they away from their families, they don't really have the time a lot of times to take care of themselves. Sure. So I want them to focus in on being a little bit selfish in their financial aspects of their lives, so that when they get out of the military, they're all set and ready to go.
It makes sense, because you train and you train and you train to sacrifice yourself for everyone else. You forget to look back and go, hey, how am I going to take care of myself here?
Right.
You know,
Right.
And I imagine, or at least I don't know, but I imagine that there's not a whole lot of educational process throughout the military training about finances.
Right, there'll be a little bit. You'll have some PowerPoint classes here and there, of course, but unfortunately, a lot of times people just listen to the guy next to them. Hey, what are you doing? Oh, I'm doing TSP, Thrift Savings Plan, for instance. And that is a great thing that the military has going for them, but they'll just turn it on a lot of times and not manage it, not have somebody to help them look and see how that fits into their overall picture with all the other benefits they have going for them in the military.
So what's the number one tip you have for someone who's military family, military personnel, veterans of this country, who maybe haven't been thinking about this?
Yeah. Well, it's all about, are you going to be doing that career? A lot of people just get in, they're doing their 20 so they can get out and get that pension. And the pension has extreme value, and they know they're going to get that pension and think, it's going to be a nice thing to have going for me once I retire out of the military. Unfortunately, people really don't understand the true value of it and how to protect it for themselves and their family, and then the tax implications that a pension can have throughout their lifetime. So managing those few aspects of maximizing that benefit that you sacrificed 20 years for.
Okay, so you got to maximize it.
Yeah.
So there's strategies for that.
Oh, absolutely.
And then
Absolutely.
beyond that too, because if you want to stay in San Diego, I mean, I don't know what the pensions are, and I'm sure they're different for everybody, but it's probably hard to live in San Diego and retire in San Diego off of a military pension, I would imagine.
Right. I mean, a lot of people are getting a separate job afterwards and maximizing things like using the VA benefits as well, as I'm sure Nicole will talk about. But yeah, you can't necessarily live off the pension. You really got to move somewhere where because it's not as much as they think it's going to be.
Right.
And then then again, with the taxes, they don't realize how that's going to be impacting their bigger financial picture.
So he mentioned it, Nicole, real estate.
Real estate.
How does that fit into this whole plan?
Well, it's a long-term investment, and so VA can utilize their VA benefits while they're in the military. So right now it's a conducive market for buying and selling concurrently, and there's a lot of people that have already utilized their VA benefit. They've already purchased their home 100% financed, and they don't realize that if they have 25% equity, they can refinance that home into a conventional loan and then reutilize their benefit to purchase something else and turn that property into a rental property. So there are opportunities for the military to continuously use that 100% financing benefit, and they can even finance higher than the loan limit. The loan limit is increasing in 2016 to $580,750, but if someone wanted to spend $600,000, or if they were qualified for $600,000, they could essentially come in with 25% of that difference. So it would be $5,000.
Yeah, it's an amazing loan program. I mean, 100% down, no mortgage insurance. It's looser standards than general loans are, so you can get in with exceptions and things like that.
Right.
But what about let's say I want to live downtown, which is where you're an expert. I want to live in downtown. Can I use my VA benefit to buy one of these high rises?
Absolutely, you can. There are a lot of buildings that are VA approved. I mean, from East Village, there's Metrome and M2I, your favorite building, that is VA approved.
Market to Island is what
Market
that means.
to Island is what it stands for. Cityfront Terrace and Park Row in the Marina District, Little Italy, Palermo, and Portico. So there are options all over downtown in all of the different communities to purchase. There is a community at 889 Date, which is called Aloft. It's on Cortez Hill. There's 168 units there, and 25 of those units are currently listed for sale. It is a VA-approved community. So there is a lot of purchasing flexibility within that building. You can get into a one-bedroom or a studio for as low as $300,000. Two bedrooms start at $409,000. So there's a lot of opportunity for the military to purchase in downtown right now, 100% financed, and VA can loan around litigation. So if you're dealing with a building that's in litigation, as long as they have their VA approval, they can finance in that building.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's huge. Wow.
It's pretty exciting.
Litigation has been an issue, right?
Yeah.
For financing. I mean, with certain buildings, they get to a certain point and then boom, litigation, and now it opens a whole can of worms.
Yeah, it has.
If that doesn't cause problems for VA financing, that's awesome.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've got our plan together then. We need to start saving money. We need to look at owning real estate. And if we already own real estate, maybe we can parlay it. Prices are up a lot. So if somebody bought 2, 3, 4 years ago, they could potentially turn that home into a rental property, use the VA eligibility to buy again. It's huge.
Yep.
Great stuff, guys.
Thanks.
Really appreciate your time. Scott, thanks
Absolutely.
so much for coming
Thank
in.
you, Derek.
Great stuff. Nicole?
Thank you, Derek.
Thank you so much for your time. Always great. Stick around for more Smarter San Diego TV, where we guarantee to make you smarter than everyone else, commercial free.
The next guest on Smarter San Diego TV is making his very first appearance on the program. Please welcome, from RPG, Dan Tomasi.
There he is.
Hey.
Rolo's in the house.
How you doing, buddy?
What's up, man?
Good to see you.
Great to see you as well.
Yeah.
All right, so Dan,
Yes.
I only have it for a few minutes,
Perfect.
so I want to make the most of it. Rancho Bernardo.
Yes.
This is your hood.
It is.
We've never talked about it on the show before. What's up with Rancho Bernardo?
You know, I love Rancho Bernardo. It's all about community for me. I have 2 young daughters, and growing up in Rancho Bernardo, we're part of the community. I'm on the board for the softball league. My daughters play softball. And I think the thing that I like about Rancho Bernardo the most, community, schools are great, people are really, really nice, but it's growing little leaders being part of the league. And so for me, that I'm really, really, really passionate about that.
So we see a lot of these different neighborhoods that get tons of attention. Carlsbad, Encinitas, Poway, get tons of attention. Rancho Bernardo right there by Poway.
Yeah.
But we don't hear much about Rancho Bernardo. Now, is it because it's one of the best kept secrets out there? Or is it just because people say, oh, it's the same as Poway? I mean, why is it?
Yeah, I actually live in Poway, right on the border of Poway
really?
and Rancho Bernardo, and I choose to have my activities in Rancho Bernardo because it feels more like a community. And I think there's not a lot of moving in and moving out, and it shows in its numbers. You know, listing inventory, you know, we're at 1.9 months of inventory on the market. Pretty low. I mean, San Diego in general is probably about 2.5 months of inventory, so we're low across the board. There's always going to be a housing shortage, especially right now in a hot market. But I think it's kind of a best kept secret because there's not a lot of transients in and out. It seems like everybody in the community goes out and enjoys things together. So you kind of keep it to yourself a little bit, but you always invite your friends out and in and, you know, check it out.
How has the real estate market performed there versus, let's say, the rest of San Diego?
Yeah, I think it's kept pace with the rest of San Diego. Days on market are down like the rest of San Diego. Poway days on market aren't down as much as Rancho Bernardo, but I think there's a little bit of a dichotomy of inventory in Poway because you have the really expensive homes over there as well that sit on the market a little bit longer. But you know, Poway and Rancho Bernardo both have performed well. Rancho Bernardo more so than Poway.
So we're coming off another great year for San Diego real estate.
Yes.
2015, wrapping it up. Looks like prices will be up close to 10% or so, depending on how it finishes out. Which is just crazy to me that we've been able to have that another year like that.
Yep.
Tell me, Dan, Rolo, 2016 will be better or not as good as 2015 for San Diego?
I'd say 7%. 7% is probably the mark for next year of appreciation.
Wow. That's still huge, though.
It's great. I'd rather it be 7% than 15%. I don't want to have an unsustainable growth in the marketplace. It's just we're gonna head to 2017 a lot faster when I foresee the market kind of, you know, plateauing a little bit.
In 17?
17.
That's when you think it'll happen?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we got another good year in us then.
Yeah, and I don't think it's going to be like the last downslide where, you know, all that subprime stuff just really hammered the market. I think it's going to be just a little bit of a more equal market, so to speak.
Yeah,
you know?
that's kind of the thing. It's like when you see a sustainable growth that feels good,
Yeah.
I almost feel like we need to take a breather. I
Yeah.
feel like it'd be nice if 16 we were down 4 or 5%. And people would go, oh, no, it's down. But I'd say, no, that's good.
Yeah.
Because if it's down 4 or 5%, that keeps it down from being down 10%, you know, when we do see a correction or something like that. But if you think 7% for next year, Zillow, I think, predicted 2% or something like that. So, it's, you know, everyone seems to be still pretty optimistic. Is that because of inventory levels, Rolo, or is that because of just flat-out demand in the marketplace?
I'm going to say it's a combination of 3 things. Housing starts are down. We're way behind on housing starts, new construction. We need way more housing for people who want to live here. Look, what is it? It was 32 degrees this morning, and it was 50 when I was walking into the office. Everyone's complaining it's cold. Well, that's a weather tax you're paying for. What other parts of the country are sub-zero right now. So, people want to move to San Diego, and we don't have as much new construction to keep pace with that. And then, of course, our housing inventory, I think what we have now is a lot of rate lock. I think I talked about this maybe last time we were on the show. People have low interest rates. They don't want to move. Their housing expense is a little bit lower right now. So I think that's contributing to the, lower housing inventory out there for resale homes.
Yeah, because what if you are a home seller? Because I look at this particular moment in time and I say, gosh, prices are up so much. It might be a good time to be a seller. But that's like a catch-22. Like if I sell my house today, even though I might get a good price for it, where do I go?
Yeah.
What am I going to get? Because you got to live somewhere.
Yeah, you got to live somewhere. And, my recommendation would be to make sure that you have your next house tied up before you let go of your other house. But that's a catch-22 again, because then you're not as competitive when you're up against 5 other people. You need a good agent like me to help you negotiate a good deal and all that stuff. But all kidding aside, I mean, it is another catch-22. You want to buy this great house that you want to move into that maybe has that view, that's on the canyon, that has the extra acreage, which is, something that's, you can't replace those. You can always make a nicer house. You can't make a nicer location.
Okay.
So you really, how do I do this? Where do I go? You still need to be priced right, even in this hot market.
You think so?
Yeah, absolutely.
Give me some advice for buyers. The market's been up year after year after year. A lot of people waited. Now they're looking at the same house. It's $80,000 more than it was when they first started looking 2-3 years ago. What do you tell buyers today?
I tell buyers, this is going to be your house. Don't focus on where the market's been or where the market's going. You're likely going to be in this home for 7 or 8 years. You're going to be okay. It's going to be your home. It is an investment. The investment will take care of itself. It's not a stock where you want to buy and sell and make a lot of money. You're there to raise a family. You're there to, have what you call home.
Yeah.
So take your time, make a good decision, and don't overthink it.
Yeah, that's great advice. Don't overthink it, because that's what happens.
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately, with all the online information and all the stuff that's out there, now people are just sort of paralysis by analysis. And I see a lot of buyers in that situation right now. So I feel like we have 2 things kind of working for us. If we see both of them go the right direction, we could see the market go much, much higher.
Yeah.
If we see those buyers get off the fence, and if we see some of those sellers also get off the fence at the same time, both of those things are going to push the market much, much higher. So it's a really interesting situation. The market could stay flat, or it could go down a tad, or go up a tad, but it could go up a lot. I don't think it could go down a lot at this point in time.
Yeah, and then you have all the 21, 22, 23-year-olds, which is the biggest buying segment that have been held back a little bit because of student debt. Right?
Oh, okay.
20% of their incomes on average goes towards paying off their student debt. But once they get past that and realize they don't need as much money for a down payment, and don't read all of the headlines and read all of the information that's out there, it's like, you have a cut on your hand that's not healing, so you go to WebMD.
Right.
Next thing you know, your leg's going to get chopped off or something like that, and you're freaking out. Consult a real estate expert and have them walk you through the process. Don't read all that excess information out there.
Great stuff. Rolo, Dan Tomasi, appreciate you coming on the show.
Thanks, Derek.
Stick around for more Smarter San Diego TV, where we guarantee to make you smarter than everyone else, commercial free.
Our next guests are joining us for the first time here on Smart San Diego TV. From Wealthbridge Insurance Solutions, please welcome Glenn Labar. And from Realty Lending Group, please welcome Toy Martindale.
What's up, fellas? Welcome to the show.
Well, good morning. Thanks for having us, Derek.
Good morning, Derek. My man.
Good to see you, sir.
Good to see you, brother.
And it's nice
Glenn,
to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
Thank you.
We got a big topic today, guys. Social Security. Glenn, there's changes coming to Social Security people need to know about.
Well, and that's the key thing right there. Most people are not aware of that the new Budget Act that went into force on November 2nd of 2015, there's severe changes. If you are a married couple specifically, and you're going to be age 62 by the end of December 31st, if you don't register and take advantage of these changes by April 30th, you will lose out. And a big part of everybody's financial retirement plan is Social Security benefits.
Yeah.
You used to be able to have one of the spouses file for their benefit, while the second spouse takes the spousal benefit. And that benefit is disappearing completely.
Seriously?
And have you heard of this?
No.
No one's heard of this. Half the financial advisors that I know of aren't aware of these changes either. So,
well, I know it's one of those things. Social Security, everyone says it's unsustainable. It's the government Ponzi scheme, or that people always say these things like, "Oh, there's no way it can possibly last. They're going to have to make changes. You can't rely on it." In fact, when I got my Social Security statement, you get those every year, right?
Right.
They send it to you and they say, "All right, here's how much you put in. Here's how much you would get out." But it says right on the front page, you may not get this.
Exactly.
It says it right there.
Exactly.
This may not be available to you, but if it is, this is what your benefit would be. So what you're saying is the changes that are coming, those are immediate. That's happening.
Well, you kind of touched on it. They needed to find some money someplace to keep it sustainable. The terrible thing, in my opinion, is they're not really making it public. No one really is aware of this change. And if you don't take action before April 30th, you could potentially lose out on the benefits that are now available to people.
Okay, so what action does someone need to take in order to maintain those benefits?
Well, at our office, Wealthbridge, we run what's called the Social Security Optimization Report. We do this for all of our clients. I mean, we don't charge for this. We do Social Security seminars. We have been doing Social Security seminars for many years now, but we're kind of under a time frame. We're a little bit under the gun. So if you are currently working with a professional that is aware of all the changes, you need to get in and speak to them, especially if you're 62 or older, or you will be turning 62 by December 31st. If you haven't thought about this much or given this much thought, we would be happy to provide you with an optimization report, and that's how we start. But of course, we take a look at what other savings vehicles you might have in force, such as an IRA, a 401k. Other people have government pension plans, but collectively together, we'll take a look at everything and make sure you're going to have a sound retirement strategy, and we'll make sure that lasts for the rest of your life.
And that's key, because you got to have income in retirement.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you stop working at some point, hopefully.
That's the plan, right?
And you got to get money from somewhere. A lot of people are expecting to get at least a little bit of it from Social Security. I just don't know how secure Social Security is, Toy.
Key word.
Right? Security. How
Correct.
secure is it? I don't know. That's a question mark. So you do need those types of financial strategies, and there's other ways to get income, right?
Right, and sometimes we have clients that come into the office and all they do have is Social Security. And in some circumstances, we have to utilize some of the equity out of their home to provide them with a second income stream during retirement. And that's why we pull Toy Martindale into the picture. Toy's our home equity expert, and he's helped us with many cases over the years.
Yes.
Toy, so another way to access income in retirement, now through home equity, through the reverse mortgage, right?
Well, all mortgages, if you take a look at it, the equity in your home is a dormant asset. And the only way to turn that asset into dollars is to either refi or sell the property. And so by identifying the needs for the particular seniors that we're speaking of, identifying the mortgage product that's going to fit this exact situation, because mortgages are not a one-size-fits-all.
Right.
So the reverse mortgage is an option. A regular conventional mortgage may be the option. We don't know that till we actually sit down and find out what the exact situation is and then address those exact needs, because it's really important. Mortgages are not a one-size-fits-all. And so how are we going to utilize the mortgage program to fit that senior's needs and get enough equity to actually let Glenn now shore up wherever they are, as far as their income, shore up the income wherever they're short as far as their Social Security or any other retirement benefits.
Right.
So,
but it is possible through a reverse mortgage or a mortgage of some sort to gain some income back into the stream.
Sure. There's again from the equity of a refi or the sale of a property. As you know, we have a lot of real estate partners as well. So where Glenn fits in is if a senior can't manage or can't afford the property, then we bring in a real estate partner and help sell the current property. Then use the sometimes the reverse mortgage proceeds to use it as a down payment for the new property.
Yeah, do reverse repurchase.
And then the balance of that equity that came out of the home, now Glenn gets to put to work and again shore up any of the shortfalls in their retirement.
Okay, so now is kind of a crucial moment then, is what I'm hearing. as far as timing for people who are turning 62 by December 31st. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
So if you are 62 or older and you have not filed yet, you want to make sure you do file before April 30th. And what you want to do is what's called is file and suspend. If you don't do this by April 30th, you're going to lose out on potential spousal benefits. They are taking that away. And taking a look at your IRAs and your 401ks, we will be able to put together a strategy that should sustain you throughout retirement. And if not, we have other alternatives, and Toy can help out with that. And that's utilizing equity out of your home.
Yeah, well, there's always a solution. Whenever there's a challenge, there's always a solution. But the thing that bothers me is that they're not making this really public. It's not like there's an announcement. It's not like you're getting a flyer. If you do, it's buried in with everything else.
Right.
So this is really, really crucial stuff, Glenn. Thanks so much for coming on the show
My
today.
pleasure.
Really
Thanks for
appreciate
having
your
us,
time.
Derek.
Thank you so much, Toy.
Enjoyed it.
Appreciate your time, man.
Good
Great
to see
stuff.
you. Thank you.
Stick around for more Smarter San Diego TV, where we guarantee to make you smarter than everyone else. Commercial free.
Welcome to the Real Estate Debate, where we debate the hottest topics in San Diego real estate. Let's meet today's panelists. Vincent Villafranca with Coldwell Banker West. Larry Abrams with the Barron Real Estate Group. Richard Woods with Woods Real Estate Services. And the co-host, the Vice President of Cornerstone Mortgage Group, Sean Cahan.
Welcome to the Real Estate Debate. Beck, thank you so much for the great introduction. And gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate your time. Of course, my co-host, Sean Cahan, I'm going to go to you first. The big question, we had a great year in 2015.
We did.
Is 2016 going to be better than 2015?
I don't think it's going to be better. I think that it's going to stay strong. It's not going to kind of dip off like it did at the beginning of 2014 after what happened in 2013.
Okay.
I think we're going to see kind of like a plateau year where it's going to be kind of stable, which is nice.
Okay, you think stable?
Yeah.
Stable is what he says. I have a feeling someone disagrees.
I was about to say stable. Like, are we at Del Mar starting the horse races? I mean, there's nothing stable about our market since 2014.
Really?
I mean, there's been some stability, but I mean, to say better or worse, who's it better or worse for? I think is the question. Because it's going to be better for sellers, as always, and we've shown that and we've proved that in the last year and a half, let's say.
Sure.
And it's going to be harder for buyers. So it's better or worse. Whether it's better or worse, that's for I think the individual to decide, or for us as agents and loan officers and brokers and stuff to figure out who's it really better for.
Well, let's talk about homeowners.
I think homeowners in general, if you're not in, then it's worse. If you're in, then you're doing all right.
I actually disagree with that, because I think once we get the relaxation in the condo market with respect to the loans that are available to first-time home buyers, then we'll get that millennial market to come back into play, and then we'll see a steady growth in 2016. Let's face it, we have very, very low inventory. I checked this morning, it's like 5,600 units total in the entire county available. I think sellers are going to realize that. They're going to start putting their inventory on the market, and we're going to see this market take off in 2016.
Okay. Yeah, but I think the problem is as well, unless you're managing or your CPA is managing millennials' funds, they don't even have money to put down on a house right now. So there aren't enough millennials out there to even purchase homes because they're not managing their money correctly at the point. And that's why we're at the point where we're at right now, where we're like, we can sell all these homes, but we don't have enough people to buy them. And we do have people that are going to buy them, but not necessarily millennials at the higher end of the market. They're going to be, like you said, at the condo market. Yeah, they'll open up the condo market, but then once the people open up the condo market, where are those people going to go? They might not necessarily have enough equity to move into the larger market.
Do we even need the millennials, though? I mean,
no,
marketplace?
No. They haven't done anything for us yet, so why do we need them now?
That's why I think they're going to open up and come into the market next year. I think we're going to see a big push in the millennial market, but we've got low unemployment. We've got people feeling good about where they are in San Diego County, and the county itself is performing well economically, which gives people that confidence to enter the real estate market. And there are markets, home market out in La Mesa that's gained 20-30% since the downturn. So those people are now seeing a return to equity. They either need to downsize or move up, the traditional things that we always see in real estate, and I think it's coming in 2016.
Vincent?
Well, I was listening to everybody here, and I think it really, for agents, it really depends upon the mindsets of our agents. Many agents are comfortable with selling 10 homes a year, right? Some are comfortable selling 20 homes, 30 or more. Now, all of us, we're going to fight to do our certain level. And now, if they want to increase their production, they need to change their mindsets and go to where they're going to get deals. Whether deals are $100,000 condos or $800,000 homes in Scripps Ranch, we're going to get the deal because as professional agents, that's what we're going to do. So, looking at consumer confidence, inventory, that's all really great, but I go out and I find clients who want to buy or sell. That's what I do every year.
Right. So, I mean, the big question is, based on that then, what do you think will happen next year versus this year? In other words, will it be another banner year? I mean, 2015 is a banner year for San Diego real estate.
I think it's going to be a really good year for the agents that know where to get the business and how to be creative on finding new clients. Now, looking at all the stats, the economy, I have a degree in economics and I've taken master's in economics classes, but I've learned to kind of put the theory away and to do the practical application of helping people buy and sell.
Okay, that's it. Anyone have anything to say on that?
I mean, I think it goes back to what Mr. Wood said like earlier. I mean, there's stats and things that are coming out. Like Forbes has stated that San Diego is going to be the 6th best real estate investment market in the country going into 2016.
Wow.
I mean,
Forbes? Investment market?
Yeah.
For what reasons?
I don't know. They're just saying. I don't know. I saw.
Sean, do you disagree with that?
I didn't get into the article. It was just like Forbes ranking the top 10 real estate investment markets in the country, and it was like San Diego was 6th. And in front of us were obviously the southern states like New Orleans, Austin, Houston, Dallas, the states that normally do well in those kind of markets anyways. But I didn't get into the schematics of what it really said. But just
let's find out for real, because Sean's a big real estate investor. So, Sean, do you think Forbes has it wrong?
Absolutely. I mean, not a ton of investors are going to be buying in San Diego in 2016 at the current market where it is, because unless the rents are going to come up, but the only way the rents are going to come up is
if income comes up.
In case the income comes up, and there's nothing that's like all over the place that's saying, hey, we're going to be making more money right now. We're just, I mean, it's going to be more of us.
Doesn't traditionally when interest rates go up, rental market goes up because the demand for rent goes up because less people can afford the interest rate hike in purchasing a home?
My office does property management, and we're seeing increases in rent across the board. In fact, I saw George Chamberlain today on the news. He said there was a 7% increase in rents in San Diego County over the last year, so they're doing nothing but increasing. A studio apartment on average is renting for about $1,050. If you're looking to sell an investment property, you should be getting your rents up in line with what the market's telling you they should be, so that it becomes more attractive to a buyer. And I do think the buyers are there. They're ready to do this in this marketplace. There's a shortage of inventory again in the real estate investment side of the market.
Isn't there kind of a catch-22 with regard to people who, the inventory issue that keeps coming up, right? If you want to sell a home, where are you going to go? You got it. You locked in at 3 1/4, a couple years ago, right? You bought this place, and it's gone up in value, and it sounds great. I'm going to sell it and make a bunch of money, tax-free. It's been a couple years, but
where are you going to?
Where am I going?
Well, say for example, if you're an agent,
that's a problem.
If you're an agent and you want to list a property, if that person wants to leave San Diego and go to Arizona or whatever, he's going to sell no matter what because he's going to do well if he bought the property 3 to 5 years ago. If you're looking to sell and you want to downsize or upsize, you have to work with an agent who knows contingent sales and knows how to work those deals and knows how to work 3-headed deals where there's multiple buyers and sellers. Now, the experienced agents are going to do well with those. The new agents that came into the market in 2013, they're not going to know what a contingent sale is. They typically came in working buyers, and now they're not going to be able to sell that cheap money loan anymore. Like, Mr. Buyer, buy this property, your interest rate is 2.9%, you wouldn't be smart to buy. So now they can't play that card anymore because rates have gone up, because they're still thinking 3% when rates are over 4%.
But have rates gone up that much, though?
No, really, but I think it goes back to what you were saying anyways, but even if you wanted to sell your house, where are you going to go?
Yeah.
If you leave San Diego, you're good.
If you're leaving,
you're good. Yes, but I mean, even within here, I mean, our office is in Scripps Ranch. How many people can sell in Scripps Ranch for $1 million and then move down the street for $1 million? There's not that much inventory there.
Yeah, that's
so I think up until this last month, all the buyers were kind of like, oh, I'm going to wait till spring, or I'm going to wait till February. I'm going to kind of let's see what the market does in a couple months. And now, as the talks of whatever the talks may be, well, if they raise it 0.5%, whatever it may be, everyone's going like, oh my God, I got to go now. I got to go now. I got to go now. So I think, it's just one of those things. Come January, February, we'll be back in that market where no one wants to buy.
Well, let's see if that even makes sense, though. I want to ask Sean this because, secret's out. This is a pre-recorded session, okay? We aren't doing this live right now. I'm just going to let the cat out of the bag.
But it's a secret. You told everybody.
Sometimes you have to. Sean, there's a meeting tomorrow.
Yes.
An important meeting tomorrow.
Yeah.
everyone's anticipating a raise in interest rates for the Fed. Can you school us on what that means and what it actually might do?
Interest rates. It's a prime. It's the Fed rating, so we're going to go up 0.25%. So it needs to start the trend. The government needs to be around like 5 to 6% on prime. Being at 3.25 for like 5 years is not healthy. And so it's not technically actually going to raise our 30-year product, which is a long-term interest rate. Technically, what actually might happen is the short term might go up on a small, short-term basis, and the 30-year actually might drop.
Do you think they might raise rates, and that could cause 30-year mortgage rates to go down?
To go down for a short period of time.
How could that be?
How long?
On like a 2 or 3 week basis, because it's just they're just different markets, and
so they're sort of shifting money around.
Exactly.
So they're like robbing Peter to pay Paul.
No, technically,
I think Peter's robbing Paul.
More people are going to be buying bonds. When more and more people buy bonds, what that does is it drops our 30-year product down.
Bonds
so
are
when
in the
our
market,
30-year product can go down, that's when the interest rates. So technically, it might be actually a really good thing. Over the last couple of days, we've lost probably about like 50 to 60 basis points. Okay, because everyone's anticipating it going up, and so no one's been locking. And then all of a sudden, if you look at any trend reports or any of the mortgage-backed securities, everyone's saying, hey, hold off for a little bit. Let's just wait to actually see what happens in the next 0 to 21 days. We actually are telling everyone to float because the 30-year product might actually get
outside of what,
see what I mean?
outside of what he's talking about of all this economic data, whenever you're working with a first-time buyer, they're not looking at bond rates. They're not looking at that stuff. When you're working with people that are coming in and out to San Diego, job reloads, military, they're looking for a great school district. They got 2 kids. What's my payment? That's all they care about. If you talk about with them with consumer confidence, he'll look at you like this, and all he wants to do is buy a house that's close to the base. So sometimes a lot of agents tend to try to give too much information to show that they know all this, but it doesn't matter because the buyer's looking to buy the military guy and he wants to stay there for 8 years. He sees a rate at 4%, I'm good.
Yeah.
I agree 1,000% with that. It is not. I do not sell interest rates. I just have this knowledge because I have to to read it.
You're the lender, so you're supposed to have that
tell
knowledge.
us. So.
Yeah, but on like a basis, like when a client comes, hey, this is what your interest rate's going to be, and if they feel comfortable with you, that's why so many banks out there. I mean, there's like 130 spread, on an FHA and VA between us and somebody else. But guess what? If that client feels good with that other loan officer, that 134 basis point spread, they're not even going to notice the difference. They're going to go with a higher rate.
When you're talking about new agents that have entered the market, people that came into the market 2013, I mean, brand new people, they're used to selling cheap money. Now, when rates are go up, they're going to have to sell more. They're going to have to sell stability, tax deductions, not worrying about the landlord raising rates. So we're going to have to work with buyers and really educate them on the whole benefits of buying a property now, not just one thing.
I wrote an article for the UT when I was the executive director over there for the real estate department, and it was specific. The headline was this: buying a house is not an investment, it's a hedge.
Exactly.
And you're hedging the market. So you are fixing in your payment at a certain level to hedge against what might happen out there in the middle market.
We're in San Diego, it's going to happen.
It's like buying a large-scale bond that doesn't move.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way I equate it to. I mean, because that's really what it is. It's a 30-year bond that you sit there. Whenever you want to cash it in, you can cash it in at any point. It's your money.
You know what, Larry? We've heard a lot from you today. But I don't know if we got a specific prediction from Larry. I know Sean said flat.
I say good.
Rich said banner year, 2016. He thinks it's going to be huge. 2016, what do you think, Larry?
I might have to go and piggyback on what Mr. Wood says. I think it's going to be a banner year. Even in the neighborhood where I'm born and raised and lived there for almost 40 years, we have a 3% turnover standard year over year. Citywide is 5.5%, 6%. We're at 3%. I've never seen more homes being sold and bought in my neighborhood in all 40 years of my existence.
Wow. What neighborhood is that?
Del Cerro.
Del Cerro.
Yes. When I see that in a neighborhood like that, I can only imagine what's going to happen to a La Jolla, Scripps Ranch, a Miramar, a Del,
Isn't this the baby boomer effect we thought was going to come at some point? Now it's here. I mean, most people are retiring. They do have equity in their homes as long as they
want to move to an island.
They were all conservative instead of pulling out lines of credit and running up the debt on their house. So here we are. We are at that point where now they're going to transfer that to the Gen X and other places. So we can see that market continuing, which is why we're going to have a really good year in 2016.
Wow.
What's happening in Del Mar?
Well, no, I'm just saying whatever happens in Del Cerro, I think like Del Cerro is like that niche community that you really got to know kind of people to get in. It's like one of those, I call it like a private community within a private community. We only have 3% turnover, but if I see the turnover start to turn to 4 or 5 over there, I can only imagine what's going to happen in the larger communities where they already have a standard 5.5 to 6% turnover rate over the course of the year. You know, that's what's just I'm anticipating. Plus, they're building a new development. First development ever going to go in the Del Cerro area. It's since 1970, I want to say 72 was the last home built in that community. They're building a brand new 25 home development, standard 1,700 square foot homes.
Who's the builder?
Coleridge.
Yeah, I've been hearing about that.
So, with that being said, I mean, that lot has been zoned since 1959 and no one's bid on it. And now we're in 2015 and they're going to build 25 homes in a canyon that's been zoned for 40, 50 years. I mean,
I don't know how they're going to build those homes in that hole.
I don't know either.
I know where it is, dude.
I'd rather have homes than bums in the hole, so it works out perfect.
Okay, Vincent, I got to corner you now because
Yes.
we haven't heard from you yet.
Corner
So
me.
we got flat from Sean. Banner
Stable.
years. Stable. He's sorry.
Stable. But
That's
he's
very
playing
positive.
it easy. He's a lone guy. He can't go like that's
Sure
like
he can. He
that's
does
like
it
a
all the
stock
time.
guy.
I
He's
do
like a
it all
stock
the
guy.
time.
He's not gonna
He
go
does
left
it
or
all the
right.
time.
No.
He does it all the time. Vincent, what do you think? 2016 versus 2015.
For me, it's going to be a really, really good year. But for the
I don't know about y'all.
I don't know about you guys.
Year for
I
me.
don't know what your mindsets are, but I'm gonna have the best year ever. So, but now here's the thing: newer agents are gonna go by the way, so they're gonna fall a little bit because there's new things that they're gonna see that they're not gonna know how to handle.
Okay.
Experienced agents who've done contingent sales, we're in the short tail market. I don't want to say smarter, but the more experienced, they're gonna do well also.
You think we're going to see short sale market again?
No.
Better in 2016 for the whole market, not just you.
You-
I know
you've
we know it's
said-
going to be
you've
good
asked
for
him
you.
this 3 times, he still had one answer.
I will keep asking you.
Better.
You will answer me, man.
He said
Better.
better.
Okay, better. So,
Much better.
Sean Cahan, we have to wrap this up. I can't believe we're already done.
Wow.
Do you believe these guys? Are they overly optimistic?
I mean, I like where they're going.
Okay.
I really like the San Diego market. Been here 11 years,
Yeah.
and I always wanted to do better, right? Because there's no advantage of it not doing better. We just have to be sometimes, I think, a little bit realistic on price. So does better mean that the prices are going to go up another 5, 6, 7%? Not really sure about that, but maybe there's more turnover.
More transactions, more
More
volume.
transactions.
Yeah, that would be good. More
It just
liquidity.
depends on like what our end goal is. Like, do we think that it's going to be better for what reason?
Yeah.
That's my personal opinion.
Great stuff. Thank you guys so much for being here. Really appreciate your time. Vincent, Larry, Richard, Sean, of course. Thank you guys so much for being here. That's it for the Real Estate Debate, where we make you smarter than everyone else about San Diego real estate.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks. Good to see you.